Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Coach Kathleen. Okay, and this is another episode of Heart to Heart with Kathleen. It's been a long while since I haven't done any video. But today I want to share this story within a story to you. This is a fable about fulfilling your dreams and reaching your destiny. Okay, the title of this book is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. But because we do not have a lot of time, okay, to devour in this book, okay, I'll be sharing with you a story within this book. I met this, I've learned about this author, Mr. Robin Sharma, since way back 2018. Yes. And then I get to read this soft copy of this book 2019. 2019. And then and then I also were able to listen to the audio of this book. And now, 2021, I get to have my own copy of the book. Like, I don't know why. That was the song in my mind. Anyway, hello Philippines and hello world. Okay, so let me start with I'll be reading the story, and then I'll make some reflections about it. Okay, this tale is known as the Peter and Magic Thread. Okay, Peter was a very lively little boy. Everyone loved him. His family, teachers, and his friends. But he did have one weakness. What was that? Peter could never live in the moment. He had not learned to enjoy the process of life. When he was in school, he dreamed of being outside playing. When he was outside playing, he dreamed of his summer vacation. Peter constantly daydreamed, never taking the time to savor the special moments that filled his days. One morning, Peter was out walking in the forest near his home. Feeling tired, he decided to rest on a patch of grass and eventually doze off. After only a few minutes of deep sleep, he heard someone calling his name. Peter, Peter, came the shrill voice from above. As he slowly opened his eyes, he was startled to see a striking woman standing above him. She must have been over 100 years old, and her snow white hair dangled well below her shoulders like a matted blanket of wool. In this woman's wrinkled hand was a magical little ball with a hole in the center, and out of the hole dangled a long golden thread. Peter, she said, this is the thread of your life. If you pull the thread just a bit, an hour will pass in seconds. If you pull a little harder, whole days will pass in minutes. And if you pull with all your might, months, even years, will pass by in days. Peter grew very excited at this discovery. I'd like to have it if I may, he asked. The elderly woman quickly reached down and gave the ball with the magic thread to the young boy. The next day, Peter was sitting in the classroom feeling restless and bored. Suddenly, he remembered his new toy, and he pulled a little bit of the golden thread. He quickly found himself at home playing in his garden, realizing the power of the magic thread. Peter soon grew tired of being a schoolboy and longed to be a teenager, with all the excitement that pace of life would bring. So again, he pulled out the ball and pulled hard on the golden thread. Suddenly, he was a teenager with a very pretty young girlfriend named Elise. But Peter still wasn't content. He had never learned to enjoy the moment and to explore the simple wonders of every stage of his life. Instead, he dreamed of being an adult. So again, he pulled on the thread, and many years was by in an instant. Now he found that he had been transformed into a middle-aged adult. Elise, was now his wife, and Peter was surrounded with a house full of kids. But Peter also noticed something else. His once jet black hair had started to turn gray, and his once youthful mother, whom he loved so dearly, had grown old and frail. Yet Peter still could not live the moment. He had never learned to live in the now. So again, he pulled on the magic thread and waited for the changes to appear. Peter now found that he was a 90-year-old man. His thick hair had turned white as snow, and his beautiful young wife, Elise, had also grown old and had passed away a few years earlier. His wonderful children had grown up and left home to lead lives of their own. For the first time in their entire life, Peter realized that he had not taken the time to embrace the wonders of living. He had never gone fishing with his kids or taken moonlight stroll with Elise. He had never planted a garden or read those wonderful books his mother had loved to read. Instead, he had hurried through life, never resting to see all that was good along the way. Peter became very sad at this discovery. He decided to go out to the forest where he used to walk as a boy to clear his head and warm his spirit. As he entered the forest, he noticed that a little saplings of his childhood had grown into mighty oaks. The forest itself had matured into a paradise of nature. He lay down on the small patch of grass and fell into a deep slumber. After only a minute, he heard someone calling out to him. "Peter, Peter," cried the voice. He looked up in astonishment to see that it was none other than the old woman who had given him the ball with the magic golden thread many years earlier. "How have you enjoyed my special gift?" she asked. Peter was direct in his reply. "At first, it was fun, but now I hate it. My whole life has passed before my eyes without giving me the chance to enjoy it. Sure, there would have been sad times as well as great times, but I haven't had the chance to experience either. I feel empty inside. I have missed the gift of living." "You are very ungrateful," said the old woman. "Still, I will give you one last wish." Peter thought for an instant and then answered hastily, "I'd like to go back to being a schoolboy and live my life over again." He then turned to his deep sleep. Again, he heard someone calling his name and opened his eyes. Who could it be at this time, he wondered. When he opened his eyes, he was absolutely delighted to see his mother standing over his bedside. She looked young, healthy, and radiant. Peter realized that the strange woman of the forest had indeed granted his wish, and he had returned to his former life. "Hurry up, Peter, you sleep too much. Your dreams will make you late for school if you don't get up right this minute," his mother admonished. Needless to say, Peter dashed out of bed on his morning and began to live the way he had hoped. Peter went on to live a full life, one rich with many delights, joys, and triumphs. But it all started when he stopped sacrificing the present for the future and began to live in the moment. So this is one of the many short stories inside. It's actually a story within a story that has catched me. Okay, it spoke to my heart. Why? Because just like Peter, I also am the type of a person that whenever I am seated, or like whenever I'm seated here, I would be thinking, about what will happen later on, and then I'll be planning on what will happen in the next days to come. Of course, especially right now, right, with the pandemic and all. It's important, it was discussed here, to have a goal, okay? To have a goal because it will propel you. It will excite you, okay? It will fuel you, okay? To get out of bed and be excited. This story taught me to live in the present moment, that it matters the little things in life, the mundane, the things, the conversations, the simple eating of lunch with your parents, with your family, with your loved ones, the text messages that you exchange with people, okay? The imprints, the inspiration and the purpose that you live in each and every person that you get in touch with matters, okay? So it is a reminder for me, and I hope that it also will be a reminder for you to live in the present moment. Yes, okay, we might plan. Okay, in the Bible it says, many are the plans in man's heart, but in the end, it will be what God has planned for our lives that will prevail. Okay? So it is very important that we have our plans for us to look forward in the future, but it is also very important that we get to cherish whatever time it is there that is with us now, the people that God blesses with, okay? And of course, the challenges, everything, the victories, the triumphs are all but part of our wonderful journey called life. So life is beautiful. Let's all enjoy it. Let's all live with it. Let's all live in the moment. So sending you so much love and light. Again, my name is Coach Kathleen, and together with you, let's expand with purpose. God bless you all. Thank you.